um, he took us on a tour, and it was so exhausting that we had to ask him for time out. He has no idea what the word retired mean. There's a couple of definitions in there, retired. So anyway, I wanted to say that publicly. I do appreciate your kindness, and thank you very much.
The next time you do that, Seraphin, I'd like to be on board too. I'd like to get a tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You're welcome, Greg. It's it's exciting for us to show off the work that we do. So anytime.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, bring your tennis shoes. That's all I can tell you. So, anyway, we definitely have more than necessary for a quorum. So I need to get the, has everyone read the minutes from that were posted?
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second that.
And there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nays. Thank you very much. It's passed. Item number 1 here. I'm looking for it as I talk.
We have the bond performance and financial audit report to present and for you to approve today.
The public comment first.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
Glenn, is there anybody waiting to comment, public comment?
No, there's no one for public comments today.
God bless America.
And that brings us to the first action, the board performance and financial audit report.
Yes, I'm Whitney Schultz, Director of Finance. I'm so honored to be here today on Kate Jolly's behalf to present both the final bond audit report and the final Prop 39 audit report to you all. This financial audit ensures that all of the funds were spent appropriately within GAAP and within the general obligation bond requirements. It also ensures that we spent the funds as we told the public we would when they voted on the bond measure. And it includes everything from verifying all of the expenses to the whole bid process and much more. And I'm so pleased to announce that we received unmodified opinions on both of our audits with no findings and no adjustments.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's very good. Any questions for Whitney? Not hearing any. I guess we need a motion to accept the report as given.
Can I ask a question? I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
I
sure.
was trying to press the unmute button. So the audit is, who conducted the audit? Is it as a third party representing potential opposed views, or can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I will answer to the best of my ability. And if there are further questions, I'm happy to take notes and follow up. But our audit was conducted by Gilbert and Associates, a third party. Let me see if there's something that talks about them in, but they're not associated with us. You know, it's not an internal audit, it's an external audit from a third party CPA company.
Thank you.
Do you want me to follow up with further information on that?
And I was just curious who conducted, and it was partial and neutral as opposed to our own audit and say, hey, we're all fine, nobody found anything.
Yes, it's a third party, and they do the district audit, the foundation audit, and the Measure H audit.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Looks like their website, that's kind of their niche market. For nonprofits, according to the website, audit services based out of Sacramento.
Well, I move approval of the 2021 bond performance and financial audit reports.
I'll second that.
And a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Nays? It passes. Frank, would have a comment or two from you? Thank you.
Okay. Happy New Year, everybody. Year of the Tiger. I hope you all had a good break. We're all back now. We started classes last Wednesday, and about 40% of our schedule is in-person instruction. About 60% is remote. And I'm pleased to report that last week was kind of pretty smooth. We do have people reporting COVID, both employees and students. Just for your information, 1 out of 7 residents in Sonoma County have had COVID reported. But we do have a high, vaccination rate. So I think we're about 75% for the general population and close to 91% for people over 65. So I think we're doing the best we can. We're not offering in-person support services yet. We were supposedly going to do it when we opened school last Wednesday, but we decided after consulting with our student health director that it's still, as you know, kind of high, the incidence rate. So we decided to delay it, and we're gonna make an announcement to delay it until February 14th. And hopefully by that time, we'll start seeing a decline in incident rates. We're just trying to hedge our bets and try to be very cautious. But I think people are pleased to be back on campus. They're practicing, safe practices. We've upgraded masks. Our student health center has been doing heroic efforts to do testing on demand, also vaccinations on demand, boosters on demand. So we're doing everything to keep everybody safe. But I think the real kind of transition I see now with Omicron, at least with Omicron, is that you're going to get sick because it's real contagious. You have a high degree of chance of getting infected, but you're not going to die or require hospitalization for most people. So we still take it very seriously. We're monitoring it on a daily basis. So school's open, and we have basically about 7,000 students taking live classes. You spread that out over 4 distinct sites. It's manageable. You don't have this crowding and people coming in all at once. You spread it out, and it's worked pretty well. And we'll keep you informed about any changes that might occur. The other area that I like to report is this: the governor has released the state budget. It's a very positive budget. The state is flush right now. They have a surplus, and of course, with Prop, what's the name? Like Prop, the one that guarantees 40% of the general fund.
Prop 98.
98.
Exactly. Thank you. Prop 98. When the coffers go up, then funding for education, K-12 and community colleges goes up. So we're looking at right now a 5.33 cost of living adjustment, which is unheard of. People like Doug, who've been in the business a long time, for many years we were getting 0.5%, 1%, and it just goes to show that the funding is very, very healthy. They do want us to keep a higher reserve. Typically, we've been at 5% reserve, and through the good work of Kate and others, we've been able to increase our reserve to about 12%. But now they're looking at asking for 16.7% reserve, 2 months of your budget. So we're working on trying to get there as well. So I think that's the general outlook. We're going through a strategic planning process. We have we last did it in 2014, so we're overdue for strategic planning 2.0. We also have the accreditation visit coming at the end of February. So accreditors will come in and take a look at our college and give us recommendations about how to, look at strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. So, of course, we're very much looking forward to a good accreditation visit. And so everybody's busy, and we're trying to just keep up with all the demands. I really feel like many of my administrators have taken on 2 full-time jobs. One, their regular job, and 2 is being a public health official. So, it's just a tremendous amount of burden and work, but it's something we need to do. And, we're not complaining, but I just really appreciate all the efforts that our faculty, staff, and administrators are doing during these very, very challenging times, including Sarafin and his team. They've taken advantage of not having a lot of students on campus to really accelerate construction, which is basically saving us money, time, and as you know, time is money. And we got to make sure, Sarafin, that now that 40% of the students are back on site, that things are safe, and the noise level has to be, taken into consideration when we do classes, because there's a lot, especially that STEM building. It's huge, it's humongous. So the noise levels could be disruptive to some of our instructors and students. So I know you guys are keeping an eye on that as well. So I think that is the highlights, and I'll turn it back to you, Greg, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of the CBOC members have regarding my report or anything that I might not have covered. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, any questions for Frank? Go ahead, Jamie.
I have a question, Dr. Chong. Thank you for bringing the students back to campus. It's just a tremendous accomplishment given the circumstances. As you know, I have a son who is second year engineering school, attending school, and this is the first time he's going to, classes, at the JCs. He's been doing all his courses online. And so I say, hey, Anton, how's it going? He's like, it's great. I'm going back. And I said, what about the classes that you're taking? And he's like, I'm having a hard time, and some of my classmates also having a hard time getting the classes that we need to graduate. And I say, yeah, which is a function of what's available, the circumstances that we're living in. But how kids are, right? So first of all, he won't listen to me, right? And he says, but Dr. Chong is cutting the classes. I said, it's not Dr. Chong. I said, Dr. Chong happens to be, right, driving the bus. And I said, given my experience teaching at the school and also corporate environment, those decisions are not taken lightly. I said, there's consequences for cutting classes and not, people get affected by that. I said, what about taking a class at Sonoma State and transferring those credits or something along those lines? So, so he won't listen to me, right? And so, but I'm thinking, what is the little microcosm that I'm hearing from him is that we don't have enough classes. We don't have enough to graduate. What can we say to comments like that? When people say, I know you're doing the best you can, you're trying the best you can, given all the circumstances, but what else is out there that we can say?
Frank, you want me to?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I would just, I did a little time in the counseling department. So I guess the answer to that question is to look at what general education classes are required for a major, and those classes are universal. I mean, they go across. And then the counselor can tell you what specific courses are necessary for a particular major. And so those are the 2 things that he should be concerned about: general education and what specific courses. And they're posted, and any counselor can tell you what they are.
Yeah, we have. So, but to answer the question from Jaime directly, and I appreciate that, Greg, is he should make sure he sees a counselor and he can get counseling appointments online, is that we haven't cut classes. We've been keeping the same number of classes for the last 2 years. We haven't had to make some cuts about 2 years ago. But the classes would only be cut if they don't have at least 20 students, you know? And so there might be in his area in engineering, I don't know which classes he's talking about having trouble getting into. The only reason they would be cut is if there were not enough students to make a class. And that's just a function of, you know, the margins that we work on. So basically, I always say students vote with their feet. We haven't cut any nursing classes. We haven't cut any, healthcare classes. And our public safety center, training center, the numbers are going up. So they're only getting cut if there's not enough enrollment. And they may not be live because a faculty member doesn't feel comfortable teaching it live, but that class should be offered, online. So again, without knowing the specifics, I recommend your son seek out a counselor who specializes in general ed and in engineering he's in, and we'll try to give him proper advising.
Right.
Okay? Thanks for bringing it up, Jaime.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Frank? Not hearing any quarterly board expenditures.
Yes. So I'm here to present the financial report for the second quarter of 21-22, which ended on December 31st, 2021. The expenditures during the second quarter of 21-22 were just about 14.7 million, bringing the overall total of expenditures to just above 227 million. Highlights in the second quarter include close to 1 million in expansion for new construction, 8.2 million in renovation and modernization. This included 6.9 million for kinesiology, athletics, and dance renovations. There's 390 information and technology. There was 3.4 million for infrastructure, maintenance, and repairs, including 2.8 million of this for energy conservation and sustainability projects. And there was 1.5 million on health and safety improvements, all of which were for access control.
Questions? Comments?
Well done.
Well, I guess Whitney, you've stumped them.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Moving on to the annual report for community update. Who's handling that one? Frank, are you doing the update?
Hey, Seraphin's going to handle that one, right, Seraphin?
Jennifer, okay.
Yes, so we do have Robin Michelle who's going to be reporting. So let me the slideshow going here.
Right.
Robin, you're on.
Thank you, Seraphin, and thank you, committee members. I really appreciate all the input you gave in the October meeting around the draft report and the emails that I received during the review, email review. And as you hopefully saw when you received this in your mailboxes, your comments and suggestions were incorporated. So this was an interesting year. First, it's my first year here at Santa Rosa. But the other thing that happened is that we divided out the mailing and the printing this year. So having done that, having two separate vendors, we were optimistic that we would make our deadlines, and yet there's always that little feeling. And happy to report that we did make our deadlines, and the report was mailed out and delivered to taxpayers during the week of January 3rd. In fact, Jesse Hilsenrand, the senior designer for SRJC, emailed us immediately when he received his report. And I hope you'll agree with me that he did a beautiful job in the layout. It's quite attractive. This was also a year where SRJC was changing their graphic standards. So it's been posted on the website as a digital edition, and it's been promoted through social media. And there is an email address there where you can download the report. We are also sending out this week a press release to our public officials and media that the report is now available online. So here is the, it's a trifold. It's quite a large document.
Mhm.
And so we've got the front cover, the back cover, and the interior messages for your honorable chair and from Honorable Dr. Chong. So thank you both for your messages. Next slide, please. And then this is, as you see here, the financials, Measure H updates and highlights and projects in process. And if you notice, we've always had the annual audits of financial information underneath the financials where people could go online to read more. But based on feedback from you, we've incorporated something about the projects, another link so people can go and read the projects online. So I think that's it. Are there any questions?
I don't know if this is the time to ask, but I was just curious about one renovation project, Bertolini. What are we doing to modernize Bertolini?
Oh, Bertolini is such an exciting project, and I know that Seraphin can fill you in more on that, and probably the project.
Okay, yeah, probably Seraphin is the one. I'm sorry when I did.
No problem. Thank you for the excitement. Thank you, Robin. Also, and I'll just go on to the next item on the agenda, which is our Measure H and capital projects updates. And just a quick overview that we are in the process of wrapping up some of the larger projects in the Santa Rosa campus, such as the athletic fields and the central plant project. These projects, especially the central plant project, where we had to do a lot of trenching throughout the campus to reach the underground utilities to the various locations on the campus, really tore up the campus pretty bad. So we're in the process of, we've wrapped all that up, and we're right now in the process of cleaning that up. So the students and staff that went back to school last week experienced a much cleaner construction-wise campus than they've had in the last 2 years. So we're happy that things went very smooth last week. And we're looking forward also to the next couple of weeks where we will be tightening it up even more. So I will answer your question, Rick, but let's go through these project updates, and you'll actually see some of those updates as part of the presentation. So with that, we'll start with Ryan Leahy, who is our project manager managing these projects. Ryan?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. First up is Garcia Hall renovations update. As you can see in the picture, we've got framing modifications in progress, and then also mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire sprinklers are being roughed in, looking at targeting a installation in mid-February. And next slide. Next up, we have Busman IT renovation update. We're currently submitted this project to DSA, so it's in DSA reviewed right now. And next slide, Shown Farm AG Portables update. We've got the exterior work is almost complete. The buildings are in place, and all the groundwork has been installed. And on the interior, the contractor is currently installing rough mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and he's also just started this week. He's started some interior work. And moving on, Shown Farm barn upgrades. The new roof and wall panels have been installed. And then also you can see we have in the other picture, we have a new lab area that's been completed. And moving on to the next slide is the Shown Farm new greenhouse. The new greenhouse has been ordered and is scheduled for delivery around the beginning of March. And also we have had the structural engineer complete the connection details for the slab. And next we have Shown Farm Produce Processing Facility. We just completed the PG&E cutover last Friday. That all went well. And then we also currently have this project out to bid. The coolers are out to bid for and scheduled for construction in spring of 2022. And lastly, we've got the Shown Farm Site Security Project, and this project is currently in design. And that's it.
Ryan, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are there plans for the indoor riding arena? Are we going to do anything with that? Change that at all?
At this point, we don't have any plans as far as Measure H spending for that for the arena.
Okay.
Next up is David Liefman.
Good afternoon, everyone. So what we have here is pictures from the new heating and cooling plant that will be serving a large number of buildings at the Santa Rosa campus. This is to replace the old cogeneration plant that was burnt down. So all the underground utilities have been installed, a significant amount of utilities all around the Santa Rosa campus. And we have the building completed. And on the right-hand side, you can see our new 50,000-gallon tank that is capturing our waste reclaimed water that's coming from the Quinn basement to be used for irrigation around the campus. And we expect to capture between 6 and 7 million gallons of water a year from this nuisance water and reduce our potable water consumption by around 20%. And then over the winter break, it was very exciting. We got to finish commissioning of the new SRJC microgrid batteries, as well as integrate all of the microgrid assets, as well as perform a significant amount of functional testing. So we have close to 250 functional tests to perform for this microgrid project. That's to really validate that this system can work as a new backbone power system should PG&E fail, as well as operate in normal operations. So a number of pictures here. Picture on the left-hand side are these new intercepts. They allow us to disconnect buildings off our grid and reconnect them. The picture in the middle is just a lamp that was set up that we used to validate that we could successfully pick up the campus load when we separated from PG&E. And on the right-hand side are the screens that we look at just to validate and trend the data of our test. Over the winter break, we were successfully able to separate from PG&E and prop up the entire Santa Rosa campus, which is about 800 kW, which is the same amount of power that would serve close to 1,000 homes. And we were able to do that without voltage dropping enough that computers would turn off. So no computers turned off and no backup generators were needed. And we are continuing to do our functional test, hoping to finish actually this Sunday. And then we are doing our measurement and verification process for the state for the next year to really validate that this is a system that works. It's an emergency power system and it can be replicated throughout the state.
Thank you, David. Moving on, next is Heather Shrieky.
Hi, good afternoon. So at the baseball and softball fields, we are almost complete. We're just finishing up the landscaping this week. And they have started using the fields for practice. And at the field house, we're almost done with the metal panels at this point, and the guardrails are installed, and we're actually weather tight and looking to, we actually start sheetrocking, and the plaster lids and the showers are done. And we'll be setting HVAC units on the roof in a couple of weeks. And for the pool, we're also, there's rebar everywhere around the pool, and we're gonna have our first pour later this week for the concrete pool deck. We've got all the fence posts up around the pool for the fencing that surrounds the pool, and the scoreboard posts are also in. And for Towser, we had our final design meeting with the athletic department and we're submitting to DSA in February.
Also another update that, in Towser Gym, we are having to do a mandatory seismic upgrade that DSA is requiring us to do on the project. So that is added a little bit of time to the project and will also require additional funds. So Heather worked with the team to put together an amendment that we submitted to the state requesting for additional funds. So we're hoping that we're successful with that and that the state will help out. I believe that we're looking for about $4 million. Is that correct, Heather?
Well, we're looking for the state for about $2.8 million.
Seraphin or Heather, what does DSA stand for?
Division of State Architect.
Thank you.
Yes, and DSA is our regulatory agency. So they review our drawings for compliance and code. All right, next is Rhonda Ross.
Afternoon all. STEM building, they're continuing bolt up and welding, also installing deck. Going to be installing deck into February. The MEP folks will be coming and installing inserts, all getting ready to pour the concrete on the deck in March.
And as you heard, this is pretty noisy work. So yes, we will be working with the surrounding classrooms to make sure that we're not impacting class instruction. Next is Amy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Baker Hall renovation is pretty much complete. The exterior canopies and the benches were completed over the winter break and they look great. What's really left is there are 7 doors that need upgraded hardware that when we went out in the field conditions were different than what was presented. So, and the code changed. So we're doing a hardware upgrade and then cabinetry in 1805 is on back order, but we expect that in by the middle of February and still waiting for final confirmation of when the hardware will be released and installed on the doors. Bertolini Student Health Services. Student Health Services is in their new space and using it and very happy. There's a picture there to the right of this reception room furniture that was delivered. And on the top is one of their exam rooms. All that's left is the balance of the office furniture will be in April, and the contractor is working on the last few punch list items. And I hope to file for the NOC at the March Board of Trustees meeting.
And before I move to Amy's next slide, while we're here at Bertolini to answer Rick's question, we have been working with the Student Services Department to basically strategize the use of the space in Bertolini. So they have made several consolidation efforts as the different strategic plans have developed. This Student Health Center Services is part of that plan where they consolidated both student health services and psych services under the same roof, where before they were in 2 different buildings. So now they're consolidated in the same space on the 3rd floor at Bertolini. We've made other modifications to spaces as they've consolidated departments. And then we do have future renovation work to do. The MESA student program is housed in Bertolini right now, which will be moving to the new STEM building once that is complete. So we will be renovating that space also for workforce department. So as we move along and the different plans change for student services, we're working with them to try to make sure that the facilities are meeting the needs of student services. Clover Hall and Pioneer make up the other facilities that support student services. And so we've been working with them to modify, renovate spaces at the 3 buildings as we move along.
Moving on, the security project, the campus-wide security project, really they are on track for the balance of the work on the Santa Rosa campus will be completed by the end of this month, and the following next 2 weeks on the base part of the contract, which is the cameras and the door hardware, we'll be wrapping up with closeouts, staff training, and just the parts and pieces that we need to inform everybody of how the card swipes work. Then the balance will be completed with all the elevators. There's 12 left on the Santa Rosa campus, and they will be completed by the middle of February with the closeout work ensuing after that. So by the end of February, I expect that at least the work will be done, and I will start to get ready for filing the NOC. And the foundation, new office building, really we're in the submittal phase right now, and if the soil allows, we will start clearing and grubbing of around the first week of February, and expect to have that project completed within 12 months timeframe.
This does conclude our report on updates for this quarter. If you have any questions, we're here to answer.
Serafine, I don't have a question, but with reference to Bailey Field, I wanted to share with the committee that last Thursday, the Foundation Board of Directors, which I also serve on, voted to grant $125,000 towards the purchase of a large-scale video scoreboard for Bailey Field. And Wright Construction had donated $10,000, and Bear Cab Athletic Trust another $5,000. So the total cost for the scoreboard's $140,000, and the foundation really felt that this was a very good investment in the visibility of the college, and offering opportunities for future fundraising in terms of naming opportunities and recruitment of students and all. So that'll be going forward as well.
That's good. That's good.
I have a quick question about the power testing that was conducted. I'm curious to know that the test was conducted with the school's own power mechanism, so they didn't use the grid to test the system. Is that correct?
Yes, the Santa Rosa campus only has one connection to Pacific Gas and Electric.
Yeah.
After that connection, the campus has its own substations around. So the college manages its own electrical infrastructure. And once we separate from the utility, that's what becomes our small scale grid.
But is it renewable and self-sufficient, or are you still using?
It is 100% off the solar carport systems that are in the Emeritus and Beck lot, as well as our new microgrid batteries located at Bailey Field and Emeritus.
That's amazing. How long can you be off the grid?
Yeah, good question. If the campus was at 100% in the fall semester, in let's say, like the middle of the day, we could maintain the entire campus for about 3 to 4 hours. which most of our outages are 1 hour outages from the utility. And after an hour is when the college has to close and send students home.
Right.
After that point, we have to essentially only keep our critical facilities running. And these are a list of buildings that really support, in stages, the services needed for academics to continue, which cabinet approved. And once we get there, we disconnect all buildings except those critical buildings. And then the solar and batteries runs those buildings indefinitely or until, the sun goes out and we have no sunshine.
So thank you.
Any other questions? Then that brings us, I think, to announcements. Okay, I guess that means no announcements. All right. Well, I think that's the point where we adjourn. Frank, with any last comments from you before we call for adjournment?
I want to thank everybody again. I want to thank Seraphin and the staff and Whitney and the team effort. There's a lot of good work that goes on to getting a clean audit, getting
Yes.
projects done. I really appreciate CBOC. I really appreciate getting the newsletter out on time this year. That was one of our goals. And so it's really good that we were able to do that. I thank Robin, really appreciate you coming on. It's been a real bright light for us. And of course, Glenn is getting smarter every day. And I don't want him to get too smart because he's too close to my office. I'm not ready to retire yet. So, but maybe one day, Glenn, not too soon. All right. So,
hey, Frank, before you go, very quickly, have you gotten any feedback on the report that Robin put together? Is Robin still around?
Yeah, the feedback I got was that it was a very attractive, very well put together, and people found it very easy to read. And I think people are appreciative that the college takes time, even though we're required to put out a report that's very, user friendly, and people like pictures. They like to see things come up. And so I really want to thank our photographers. And so every year we try to make the report better. So if there's any suggestions that you guys have that we didn't cover this year, of course, the report will be different next year because we have different projects being finished. So, it's an ongoing thing, but thank you for asking, Jaime.
All right. Well, I guess we need a motion to adjourn. I don't think that'll be a problem.
I so moved.
It's a motion and a second, I think. Doug laughed, so I'll count that as a second. That being the case, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 All those opposed. All right. Have a good day and be safe all. Be safe.
Go
Take care.
Niners.
Thank you.
Go Niners.
Yeah, go Niners.
Niners.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody.
Have a
Take
great
care.
day.